Hello everybody. I hope all of y'all are having a good day today. It's Tuesday afternoon here in the Philippines and just kind of chilling out outside. For I guess a couple of days now, I've just been kind of hearing in the spirit. It's so amazing and strange and weird sometimes how God teaches us and shows us things. But just for a day or so now, I've just been hearing in the spirit, I am Groot. Most everybody here has seen Guardians of the Galaxy, and I've just been hearing, I am Groot. And so I looked up the meaning of the name Groot, and it means to be big, very large. But anyway, Groot in the Guardians of the Galaxy is, he's a tree walking around, and he's probably one of the most powerful guardians that they have. And, I was remembering the story in the Bible whenever Jesus healed the blind man. Remember, when you see somebody, their blindness being healed, that means their eye is opening. They're no longer spiritually blind. But anyway, the man, Jesus healed him, and he said, I see people, but they look like trees walking around. So I started thinking about trees and things, and the Spirit of God is amazing. How he'll give you connections to things and the way words sound and things. And I was thinking about the word cherubim, and then I thought about the word cherry blossom. How cherubim and cherry blossom sound so much the same. And so I looked up, cherry blossoms, the tree, and the characteristics of that tree. And its fruit and is very sweet, but it's also the shape of the blooms and the fruit is a heart shape. It's love. And I got to thinking about pine cones. And everybody knows that the pine cone, that the pineal gland, the third eye, is shaped similarly to a pine cone. And so I wanted to look up the name for the pine cones because I was thinking about the seraphim angels who are created in fire. And so I looked up this one particular pine cone, and it's called the Seritonus. Seri, like seraphim, but Seritonus. And these pine cones are the type, they may stay on a tree for years and years and years and never open up. Okay, it's kind of like a late thing. I remember now I was 45 years old whenever God sprouted up within me, And so these Seritonus, the only way that they open up is during intense heat, when there's a forest fire. And the fire causes the cone to open up and the seed to scatter. All right, and I was remembering how we are in the refiner's fire, and it's through that fire, what at the time may seem like hell and it seemed horrible, but because of that fire, that tribulation, then we open up, and that's whenever we come to remember who we are. I've been, just kind of seeing in the spirit lately a lot of those very intricate carvings on granite and the very hard stone of what everybody calls the Anunnaki. And, you know, they're holding the pine cone, and they're always holding that little bag. You know, all these scientists are saying, we don't really know what the bag means. It means this, it means that. But honestly, I think that bag that those guys are holding is they're carrying their knowledge with them, all right? And the knowledge comes from the pine cone, the temple of God. And, you know, sometimes I wonder, you know, just thinking about the Anunnaki and you know, they are called the ones that who fell from heaven or who came from heaven. And, you know, I remember the Bible verse. This is after Lazarus died, and Thomas, known as the twin, said something kind of strange. He said, let us go so that we may die with him. And, you know, that got me thinking. I've done several videos on that about, you know, the twin and Gemini on the zodiac wheel. It is a twin. You know, Gemini is a twin. And I think about the fall of man that happened some 6,000 years ago, supposedly. And that was the age prior to the fall of man, was the age of Gemini. All right, and then the age of Adam and during the fall was Taurus, and then there was Aries the ram, and then there was Pisces. And now I believe we're in that dawning period of the age of Aquarius, the water bearer, you know, where the thunderous waters are starting to flow now. So whenever God showed me that about Thomas the twin saying, let us go that we may die with him, it dawned on me that this represents a group of people, of volunteers. You know, this is something that God revealed to me in the Spirit. A lot of people believe it, some don't. It's up to you. It's not a salvation issue. But this is something God showed me, and I believe it. That represents a group of people that saw beforehand what was happening, and they knew that their brothers, you know, in Job it's written about the morning stars sang together. All right, it's morning stars, not just one star. Morning star in Latin means Lucifer. But it said, I think that they saw that they were going to be cast down, you know, from a higher consciousness, state of consciousness, to a lower state of consciousness into this three-dimensional world. And I believe the volunteers saw that, they seen it, and you know, they were like, the only way to save our brothers and sisters is if we go down and die with them. And that word that was used there for die means to, you know, for something to die off and for what follows after that. So if you fell from a higher state of consciousness, you're going to go into a state of spiritual blindness. All right? Now, if you know that we have to die to ourselves in order for Christ, that higher consciousness, to rise back up within us. And so I think what we did was we left ourselves clues, you know, and whenever we got here, we left ourselves all these clues about the pine cones and the handbags with the knowledge that was in there, because the kingdom of God is within us. He just has to open up his eye. He has to wake the sleeper. And whenever that is opened up, that knowledge, that vast library within us, God, is opened up. That's when we come to remembrance of who we are. And I remember in Ezekiel, it's written about, you know, Lucifer. You know, he was the largest tree in the garden. Everybody was envious of him. Okay, and what I believe, what I've come to understand is that Lucifer is not one being. You know, all these people have made this Lucifer saying he's the devil, and Lucifer and Satan are two different beings. You know, Satan was a murderer from the beginning, and Lucifer was perfect in the beginning. So how can someone be perfect and a murderer at the same time? I believe Lucifer represented a group of people, just like Israel represents people, just like the body of Christ is people. It's not just one person. Anyway, so, you know, Lucifer is the largest tree in the garden, which I believe Lucifer was Adam, and Adam represents the fallen state of man, or the morning stars. In Ezekiel, whenever he has his vision of God, and there's the four creatures, the four seraphim, and there's the wheels within wheels, and there's eyes encircling the wheels, and there's eyes up in their wings, and the seraphim. The eyes are us, our eyes. Every eye will see, you know, and it's mind's eyes. And it's showing us in those there was Taurus, you know, the bull, there was Leo, there was the man, which is Aquarius, and then the other, I'll put it right here, I can't remember what it is now, but those, it was Scorpio. And Scorpio in ancient times was an eagle, okay? They didn't use a scorpion. And that represents the fixed points in the zodiac. So that's how I knew to go back to Gemini, the age before the fall, the twins, when they volunteered to come down, the twin flames, all right? And this is the time where we have been through the fire, because that's what seraphim means, is they burn with the passion of God, you know. Uriel, which represents the archangel of wisdom, means he's the flame of God. They are the ones who have been through the refiner's fire. They are loved by God, and remember, God's love is like a flame. It's a burning flame, and sometimes it can be very painful, you know, but in order for that pine cone to open up, you know, we've got to go through that. And so now I was remembering when Jesus told his disciples, you know, when they were getting prepared for the Last Supper, and Jesus said, you know, when you go into the city, he said, you're going to see a man bearing a pitcher of water. And he said, follow him into the doorway that he goes into. All right, like that window opening in the age of Aquarius. And we have entered into that dawning of the age of Aquarius. I think we started on December 21st of 2012. I believe that's when we began this new age. And, you know, that is the rushing waters. You know, that's what Aquarius is. And an age lasts for 2,160 years. And I looked up the Strong's Concordance Hebrew for 2,160, and it means a song. And the 144,000, the twin flames, sing a song that only they know. It's their testimonial song, because they have been redeemed, all right, from their death into a spiritual rebirth. And they're singing their love song, their redemption song. And we have entered into that age. Anyway, this brought me around full circle to just because I was seeing I am Groot in the spirit. I honestly believe that we left ourselves clues when we first got here, so that it would help us to see and remember who we are. I love you all. God bless.